My name is Wandile Mthiyane. I am a 23-year-old Masters of Architecture student studying at Andrews University in the United States. I grew up in an informal settlement, or what is often referred to as a shantytown in Durban, South Africa. Growing up, I saw how my dad couldn't get a job simply because we didn't have a permanent address. I quickly realized that the core of so many problems within my community was home. Like Churchill best put it, we shape our buildings, thereafter they shape us.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Good game, man.
Apartheid architecture pushed a certain group of people into the worst land that was isolated from opportunity and resources, causing families to spend 40% of their income on commuting to work for the apartheid government, which was based in the city. They were provided housing within communities that had been purposely designed to prevent social interaction and economic opportunities. And this stripped away the humanity of the people. One day I got a random email saying there was a social venture competition, and I was like, yo, I've been thinking about this thing called Ubuntu, which later became Ubuntu Design Group. I literally wrote a business plan from Friday to Monday. It was due on Monday. To my surprise, Ubuntu won. It started winning awards, being featured in articles, and somehow, even before we had any designs, became one of the top 6 finalists at the Eco Place by Design at South by Southwest.
Yeah, just like any other kid, we loved playing house. Well, except our houses were too small, so we had to find a way of developing and building our own houses. So this meant that all the kids would come together, bring all their scrap materials and put it together to build a shack right next to our family's shack. And this process taught me how to be resourceful with scarce resources and also how to be creative.
Then I got invited to New York City by World Merit.
What up?
What's good, man?
How you guys doing? What's up?
What are you saying, dude?
I'm good, man.
What's good, man? What's good?
This is my crew.
World Merit brought together young leaders from around the world to compete for the opportunity to have their ideas presented to the United Nations headquarters.
Hey, Wandile.
This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
But you've got so much charisma, and you're so good. You're so good looking. Everybody wants to work with you anyway, so you're fine.
There's going to be a lot of fans.
You're doing well.
After much debating within the group, I was assigned to SDG 11, which dealt with sustainable cities and communities. Ubuntu Design Group won, and it was chosen to be presented at the United Nations by our group.
So we don't think about the heat outside. Oh God, oh jeez.
Oh, no. This is less than you're going to have tomorrow.
Yeah, this is true.
So you're still working on them, right?
Alright, I'm gonna start again. Ubuntu Design Group changes the ways we look at informal settlements. Co-designing communities, retaining community culture, harnessing creative spirit, and putting the people as the lead architect of their community and homes. I am because we are. It's the Zulu translation for Ubuntu, and it's this philosophy and way of thinking is what drives us to know that together we can make the world a better place.
So we're out here at the United Nations to pitch the program that we've been working on. We're pitching the Ubuntu project of redeveloping slums and shantytowns around the world with a particular pilot project that we're working on in South Africa. So really excited, really tired. We've been working really hard on this. Check it out.
What a beautiful stage, the world stage. But unlike slums, this stage
has walls that won't cave in when rain comes through. This stage has a roof that when I light an action won't burn down. Has temperature control so we don't have to worry about the weather outside. See, when I was in high school,
Yeah. That's like super good,
that's
bro.
the man himself. So how do you feel about the speech?
I was nervous. I was really nervous.
Yeah.
I think what I really liked the most was even your pronunciation of Umbumbulu.
Yeah?
It wasn't like Umbumbulu. It's just like flowing.
Was it genuine?
Yeah, it's
It's authentic?
Yeah.
Would I be welcome in Umubulu?
You're practically Zulu now.
I'm so glad.
The turning point for Ubuntu came when one of my professors, Andrew von Maar, the School of Architecture and Design and Andrews University, took a risk on this project and committed a whole year of their master's architecture students as well as funds to turn this idea into reality. To them, Ubuntu Design Group was in line with their school mission, which is to seek knowledge, affirm faith, and change the world. After a year of planning and hard work, what was once a childhood dream was now starting to become a reality. Alright guys, I just want to introduce you to Dudu. She is the lady who made all of this happen. She's the one who's behind the scenes. So let's just put her in together for her.
We are pleased to have you here. Looking forward to next week at Umbumbulu. We can't wait. I think it will be best for us to ensure that we value our time in a sense that we make a difference in Umbumbulu.
Yes.
So I appreciate everything that you have done for us because it's not only for your studies, it's also for our youth as well. So by the look of the things, yes, we will change the world.
Yes.
We will. Especially if you are, hey, I don't know, should I cry? No. I think the tears of joy. Thank you very much. This is a dream come true.
So in the spirit of changing the world, we set off to meet the next generation of architects from Durban University of Technology and get their input on our designs for their local community.
Welcome, everybody, particularly our visitors. You guys are sitting here as experts, but you're also sitting here as learners. You've got to be brutally honest as to whether your understanding of how these things really work is appropriate or not. Okay, and this is the only way that we can actually come to a real solution to be able to deal with these issues.
So my name is Andrew von Maar. I'm a professor at Andrews University, which is not too far from Chicago. And essentially, Wandile committed to serving a needy family in Umbumbulu, the Chali family. Wandile decided to quit his education, put it on pause, and come back to South Africa and serve these people by building this house and hopefully get support for other ways of thinking about low-cost housing.
We believe that no one knows best where they're going to live than the person who's actually going to live there. We don't want to come and impose our own ideas onto the community or onto people. But we'll explain more about the process and about what's going to happen in the lecture which is coming up. But now I'll just open this up for the critique.
I think it's important to realize that when the apartheid townships were built, it was deliberate that all the facilities were split. So you'd have your creche over there, you'd have your school over there, you'd have the football fields over there, because it was basically, as Andrew said, it was a way of reducing the people, but at the same time what it did was it meant that there was no space for people to collect for mass action. All right, so the town itself was emotionally fragmented.
Having communities being centralized in one place could help in order to keep them interactive with each other, but also create a space that enables them to do multiple activities.
At the moment, a lot of waste is happening, and with these contractors that aren't really building proper houses. I mean, the houses don't even last 5 years. So a lot of money is being wasted currently.
We need more of bedrooms more than dining rooms.
That's the beauty of design. You imposing new methodologies of approaching situations, and you can impose new ways of how people react to space and how they get to be responsible for their own safety.
So it's basically civil society saying, we don't believe what's happening is right. I mean, I don't know if any of you know Riverview. They've put up and pulled down RDP houses 4 times. So if this becomes some vehicle in order to be able to relook at housing, and even if this becomes a test site, then I think that's what you've got to, you can't see it as being squashed from the top already. You've got to start seeing it as being something which builds from the bottom, because that is socially sustainable.
One of Ubuntu Design Group's core values is listening to build. I started doing research on what has been done and what's being done to solve the problem of low-income housing. What stood out to me was the lack of voice people were given in the design of their own homes. It was almost a unanimous decision to help the Mthiyane family. Soon after working with the Mthiyales, I quickly realized that I was also guilty of thinking like the elites. I constantly had to remind myself to check things with them and treat them just like any other paying client that I would have. Under apartheid, a small group of people made the decisions, without allowing a large group of others to have a voice. These days, even individuals and organizations trying to provide solutions to housing problems are making that same mistake. They forget that people who are actually going to live in those houses must have a voice in the design of their own homes.
All right. We would like to give you an opportunity to look at the concepts for the building and tell us when something doesn't work well. Is the bathroom in the wrong place, for example? Or is the living room too close to the street?
One of the most important things for a community to be sustainable is for the design of that community to reflect the people, the culture, and the context of their environment.
Here you have these townships that were originally planned under the apartheid regime, deliberately to disconnect people from opportunity. I mean, everything about it, the size of the blocks, the design of the road.
In government setting, there's a lot of people with money who come and throw money to the problem without actually thinking how everything connects. We'll measure our difference by our ability to see people taking action to improve their own lives.
Self-initiative.
Self-initiative, and we celebrate that.
Yeah, so basically, a lot of, when it rains, the water comes in. And so that's why they put these plastic bags here to try and mitigate that.
Oh, mina Mrs. Ngobo. Like
My name is Mrs. Ngobo. I live here with 6 children. We used to stay in that house, and one day there was a big storm with, I guess, wind and rain, and just like the house started falling apart and we were inside it. So this is a water supply pipe which was provided by the municipality, but someone kind of stole their water supply, so that's why water doesn't come out of this pipe now. And it's been how many years?
2 years.
It's been over 2 years now, and I've reported repeatedly, but nothing has been done about it yet. Usually people will live in such situations associated with just like being lazy or anything works kind of thing. Half a loaf of bread is better than nothing. They don't really care about beauty and dignity. But when you actually look at it, in the little that they have, you look at that window, they probably found that or picked it up somewhere at some dump site or whatever. But it's beautiful, you know, that, and they valued it, and that's why they put it up there. It's not that by providing housing, you're providing people with dignity. What you're actually doing is you're restoring the dignity that people already have.
First of all, is awarded to a graduating senior who has shown ability for leadership, performed willing service for their school, and that is Wandile. And I'd like Wandile to come up. We're very proud of everything that you do.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I let a lot of people project what success is to me. Oh, you need to do this. You need to work for this firm. You need to make this amount of money. People were constantly putting me on a pedestal, like, oh, you're doing great things. You're doing amazing things. I'm like, yo, you don't know what I'm doing. you don't see what I have to go through. I'm no longer in award shows, making cute speeches at the United Nations. And I have to execute all these things I've hyped the world about. I don't even have all the money that we need. All I have are design plans for a house, and even they are half finished. Trying to fundraise in South Africa, when I would go to a white company, I felt racially profiled, and if it was a black company, I felt like my opinion didn't even matter. Because of my age or the township that I came from. See, everything was going south. I couldn't make it past receptionist, then having to come back for school, knowing we'd paid the contractor, but the work wasn't finished, and not having the leverage anymore to get them to keep going without me. It just all really led me to a downward spiral of depression. And shortly after that, I lost a family member. And just before I started one of the biggest things in my life, which was coming to college in America, I lost my mother. And just before I got this contract to start working with Andrews to do this crazy project, I lost my father. And just before I came back to finish my master's, I lost my grandmother. Now, when I'm down, who do I turn to and call on the phone? Like, when I'm succeeding, who do I turn to and call on the phone? So there was really this direct correlation between me trying really hard to like make a difference and the loss of the people who made a difference in my life. At this point, does architecture even matter? I think it was through losing those important people in my life that I was able to realize something. There's no home without community, and there's no community without a home. As you can see, everyone is out on the streets. There's visitors. Everyone wants to welcome the visitors. This is where we play soccer. This is where we hang out. So there's that sense of just love and community where it doesn't matter whether I know you or not, but you are my brother. You get what I'm trying to say? Which is really weird in the Western framework, but that's what makes this neighborhood what it is. This is it, man. This is my street. And these are some of the most creative individuals in the world. They don't have your cinemas, they don't have your skate parks, but they will make it happen. Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. At one time I thought it was just the house, the physical building that could fix the problems caused by apartheid. But I came to realize that it was more than just about the physical structure. It's the physical home that provides safety and comfort, but it is the people that you share it with, the people you love, who bring meaning to a place. I do this because I care so much about providing what I never had. And seeing other kids get to have a home, one that is safe, that provides opportunity for their success. That's what makes me at peace with myself. Ubuntu. It means I am because we are. No matter what social class, race, or neighborhood, we all matter. We all have something of value to give to each other. When you invest in your community, you invest in yourself. Evet, go shy penalty. And I think that is beautiful.